With the new Saw film out this weekend, it's time for me to make a video I wanted to make when Insidious The Red Door came out in the form of the watch order for the Saw universe. Now, what does Insidious have to do with Saw? More than you think, but we'll get into that later. But with how extensive the Saw franchise is, with Saw X being its 10th film, and how confusing this world can be at times, it's time to give a definitive watch order for all films in the Saw universe. And some of these might surprise you because Insidious and Saw aren't the only franchises to show up in this world. So welcome to Big Flick Energy, and it's time to discuss the Insidious/Saw universe and how other franchises can connect into it. So I'll start off on how it connects to other franchises, and there's one franchise that I've already mentioned but needs an explanation: the Insidious franchise. Now, I may sound like a broken record, but the same reason why I made a video saying the DCEU and the Conjuring universe are the same is why I'm saying the Saw universe and the Insidious universe are the same. For one, because of Easter eggs, and for two, because James Wan created both franchises. Or I guess in this case, he created all four franchises with Aquaman, Conjuring, Insidious, and Saw. Pretty weird, I have two consecutive videos with such a similar premise, but maybe it's actually just James Wan's world and we're all living in it. So the film that gave James Wan his big break was Saw, which explains why there's a drawing of the iconic Billy the Puppet in the first Insidious film in the protagonist's classroom. Now the two solutions to this in-universe are Saw being a movie franchise within the world of Insidious, or these two films actually taking place in the same world, and I just think it's much more fun to say they're in the same world. Now, it would have been great to have seen an actual puppet of Billy in the Insidious movies, but it looks like James Wan had other plans for that Easter egg in his 2007 film Dead Silence, where we get to see Billy the Puppet once again, but this time as his full self in a sequence where the characters discover a puppet collection where Billy is amongst them. So, based on my logic for including Insidious in this world because of a Billy the Puppet appearance and James Wan directing, it only makes sense for Dead Silence to be given those same rules and to be part of this Insidious Saw universe. And it's pretty cool how Dead Silence can be viewed as an in-between film for Saw and Insidious to show that both types of thrillers can exist in the same world, since Dead Silence has a puppet like Saw, but possession like Insidious as well. Since it is a much less popular film though, and some of you are probably wondering what it's about, I will be doing a short spoiler-free plot synopsis of all of the projects in this world later in this video, so stay tuned for that. Now, there is another film franchise I considered including in this list in the form of The Collector, because I saw this theory a couple years ago that the films are connected, and the theory goes like this. The writers of 3 of the Saw films had pitched the film The Collector under the title The Midnight Man as a prequel to Saw. However, it didn't go through, and the writers instead moved forward with this film as an original story. While it became an original story, you can tell in the actual film how much inspiration it takes from the Saw franchise, with The Collector having a fascination with kidnapping and torture, where the theory is not only what if Saw and Collector are in the same universe, but what if the Collector is actually one of Jigsaw's students in a similar way to others Jigsaw has found throughout the years? So while I was making this video, I realized that this film and its sequel, The Collection, should not be part of this world. For a simple reason, and that reason is the same reason Zack Snyder's Rebel Moon is not a part of the Star Wars universe. Yeah, the worlds are extremely similar, and in both cases, the stories were meant to be part of the original's universe. Sounds like good cases for both, right? Well, no. It was supposed to be part of the universe, but it isn't. Let it be its own thing. Different studios made them. The people behind the larger universe said it's not connected, so it's not connected. The Collector is its own thing, and Rebel Moon is its own thing. But I'll actually hold off on saying Rebel Moon is its own thing for a second, because I have a video in the works of what the Snyderverse actually is, as it includes all Zack Snyder films and spin-offs, including Rebel Moon. So, while only 2 franchises are added to this Saw universe with the Insidious and Dead Silence worlds, It's more than we had before and makes for a fun added feature to this world. Now, it also complicates an already pretty complicated world with what I consider one of the most random chronological watch order for a franchise in Insidious. So let's discuss the watch order for this universe as a whole. So we start this world with 2004's Saw that started everything. In this film, a detective and his partner must solve a series of gruesome puzzles set by a sadistic killer known as Jigsaw. This is then followed by the new film Saw X as a prequel to every other Saw film outside of the original. In this new film, the man behind the puppet and murders becomes the protagonist. I haven't seen this film yet, so I can't go much more in depth, but I'll leave a link to the trailer in the description down below. This film is then followed by 2005's Saw 2, where Jigsaw traps a group of strangers in a deadly house, revealing dark secrets about their past. We continue with the Saw franchise with Saw 3, where Jigsaw's apprentice carries on his legacy, testing a grieving father's willingness to forgive. Now we leave the world of Saw and enter the world of Dead Silence. In this film, a widower returns to his hometown only to discover a vengeful ventriloquist ghost is behind a series of eerie deaths and must take on this mysterious threat. And with that, we can jump into the world of Insidious, with Insidious Chapter 3 being the first film chronologically dealing with Insidious. In this movie, a family faces supernatural horrors when their comatose son becomes a vessel for malevolent spirits. This is then followed up by another Insidious film named Insidious: The Last Key, where paranormal investigator Elise Rayner faces her most personal haunting in her childhood home. Also, now that I'm looking at this world, the two main franchises in Saw and Insidious, for this watch order specifically, have patches of when a ton of these films take place. It feels like there's a ton of Saw films in a row and a ton of Insidious films in a row. So to continue that tradition, our next three films are Saw 4, Saw 5, and Saw 6, where in Saw 4, detectives uncover the twisted history of Jigsaw and the mystery of his protege. In Saw 5, stranded in a deadly game, 5 people face their past mistakes while struggling to survive. And in Saw 6, Jigsaw's successor targets those who abuse the healthcare system, forcing ethical choices. After this, we jump back to Insidious with Chapter 1, in which a family faces supernatural horrors when their comatose son becomes a vessel for malevolent spirits. After, we have Chapter 2, where the Lambert family delves deeper into the mysteries of their connection to the spirit world. We then go back to Saw with Saw 3D, in which survivors of Jigsaw's traps seek support and help, but a new game threatens them. Now, this is the film that is supposed to be the end of the franchise, until 7 years later, where we get Jigsaw, a film in which a series of gruesome murders resemble Jigsaw's work, raising questions about his return. And very much resembling the same premise, we have 2021's Spiral from the Book of Saw. In this film, once again, a series of murders occur resembling those of Jigsaw, except this time, it's actually a copycat killer who is targeting corrupt cops as a detective leads the charge in this whodunit spin-off. We then return back to the world of Insidious with the recently released Insidious: The Red Door. Here, Patrick Wilson's character returns to drop his son off at school, but his college dream soon becomes a living nightmare when the repressed demons of his past suddenly return to haunt them both. Now, there are a couple of projects in this world in development, like the Insidious spin-off Thread, which is expected to be released in 2024 or 2025, and the recent news from the makers of Saw X that they have plans for more Saw films after this one. Outside of those future projects, though, this is the full Saw universe watch order, including films from the world of Saw, Insidious, and Dead Silence. And with that, we have the full timeline to watch these films, and I'm going to go watch them in this order starting now. So thank you for watching this video. Please comment down below if you agree with these worlds being connected, even if it's through minor Easter eggs. And please like and subscribe to my channel for more content like this. Thanks again for watching, and see you next time on Big Flick Energy.